Guys, do you have any questions regarding a study session? Hope we got the recording session.
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, so guys, yesterday I didn't get chance to work on another example, so but I'm trying to explain same example again. So here, in this example, so we are trying to achieve two things. So one is uh, maximum delivery count. We are trying to increase it. So that is one thing. Another one is, so we are trying to roll back the things, guys. Anything happen in this flow, anything wrong in this flow, right? So we are trying to roll back it. So the two things are we are trying to achieve it actually in this. So now I will show you without that rollback and without that maximum rate delivery count increase it. So after that we'll get to know more clarity on this. What I'm trying to do it. So now maximum delivery count, I'm not keeping anything here. So where it is under advanced, so I'm not keeping anything. So maximum rate delivery count is 0. Okay, if you not keep anything, it's a it's 0 actually. The maximum number of times to retrieve delivery message use -1 to accept a message with any delivery count. So default value is 0. Okay, so I mentioned the default value, so there is 0, and then so you people are aware of about this number of consumers, and then so this is the configuration. Okay, so here I'm not choosing any transaction. You can see this, no transaction, it's a default. And then so this is a outbound, right? So this is a outbound JMS, so that's why I choose as a one way. It's a default one. And then here coming to inbound, it's a two-way direction. So it's a request response kind of thing. It will take the request, and so it will receive the response also. You can observe clearly. So this is a response and this is a request. It will take the response and it will give the response back. It's a two-way direction. And then here also I'm not choosing any transaction, guys. There is a no transaction. It's a default. Okay, so now see the issue actually, what was happening exactly. Sorry. So coming to my ActiveMQ, I'm just refreshing my ActiveMQ. So now in queue is 0, and you can see in queue is 0, ready state is 0, and then out queue is 1. I'm going to delete it totally, so it will try to create once again. Okay, so now there is no out queue, right? I just delete it. So now see, generally what is meant by rollback, guys? If people are aware it, I guess. So rollback in the sense, so something happens. Suppose we are doing some online transaction, or else you are talking to multiple tables at a time, right? Suppose first table you are trying to insert some record, and again second table also based on the first table insertion record, you are doing second table record, and again same record you are keeping into some history table third record, right? So like that we are based on the successful scenario, we are inserting multiple records into the different tables, right? Suppose something happened in the second table, right? First table insertion happened successfully, and while inserting the second table, the record. So based on the first table, we are inserting to the second table the record. So something happened that a second table insertion get failed. So what we need to do, we have to roll back all the transactions, right? Whatever happened, so the first table insertion, we have to roll back it, right? So that's what I'm trying to explain that one. So earlier we didn't discuss about rollback exception strategy, guys. So that's why I'm concentrating on that rollback exception strategy. We're trying to explain that one. So now, so let's see what happened here. I'm trying to deploy this one. Debug as Mule application. Okay, it gets deployed, and then just clear it the logs. Then what we need to do, so we have to insert the record in the, I mean we have to insert the message into the enqueue, right? I'm trying to insert it. Send to purge. Okay. Okay, I just give the message testing rollback strategy. I just send the request. I got the request. Okay. So let's see the next step. Okay. So I got the error in this flow. So see this, I got the error. And then you can observe, so it was trying to redeliver one time. So generally in this particular first case, I got an error. So just for testing, this is the exception name, and again you can say fail to invoke this particular thing. So because of I mean we intentionally raise an exception, right, using Groovy component. So that's why we got an exception. And again you can see second time, I didn't mention anything. I mean for redelivery thing, right? But it's trying to redeliver one time actually. Has been redelivered one times by default. If you not mention also, it will try one time redelivery. Okay. So maximum redelivery setting of 0 on the connector ActiveMQ, but it's tried one time. So let's check the ActiveMQ side. I'm just refreshing this. Okay, see the out queue guys. So message gets consumed, right? So it should not happen, right? So if something happened in your flow, it should roll back it should not insert the record, right? So because in this flow is not successfully happened, something gone wrong in the middle, right? So generally if the flow is not happened successfully, we should roll back all the things, because so it's not successful transaction, it's a failure one. So that time it should not insert the record, but it's insert the one message. You got it right, guys? Any doubt on this? So so we need to handle this scenario actually. We have to keep the, yeah, ask. So can you ask, I mean can you, somebody ask something? Go ahead and ask doubt if you have any doubts. Okay, so here, so we need to handle this scenario actually. So we are getting an error, but we are trying to insert the message also, but that should not happen, right? So that's what we need to handle with rollback, right? So what it will do, rollback transaction, even we are inserting a message also, it should not happen. We should roll back it, right? So that's what we are doing now. So we should not insert the message in this. So for that, what we need to do, so two things we need to do. First one is I'm trying to increase the redelivery count also. So that is where we need to increase, that is under advanced, and maximum redelivery I'm keeping 2. That is one thing. And again, so if you want to handle rollback strategy, so then we need to enable the rollback exception strategy. I just commented it in backend. I'm just enabling this. Okay, now I enable the rollback exception strategy. You can see here under this rollback I mentioned exception is not payload is payload. Whatever the exception, I'm displaying that payload. Okay, so now what else we need to do for rollback exception strategy? We need to enable this. So now it's a no transaction. It should be uh, JMS transaction, and then here always begin. Since it's a starting one, so it should be always begin. That is one thing we need to change. And another thing here also we need to keep it it's a transaction. It's a JMS transaction, and then here always here always join actually. So always join in the sense it will add to the parent value actually, whatever the transaction previously happened. So it will add to the parent thing actually. That's why we kept it as always join. There are always begin. Okay, so these are the changes we need to do for a rollback strategy. That's it. Let me run it and just save it. I'm just deleting this guys. So out view I'm deleting. Let's see the one once again. Now there is no out view. Just clear the logs. Now in queue there is other way to add the message guys. So what is the other way? Click on in queue, and there is a somewhere else send option is there. Click the send, and then in queue, right, this one in queue. That's it. Okay, I got it, and then try to click next. So it will try to redeliver twice, right? 2 plus 1, 3 times it will try to redeliver. Okay, it's done. We can observe also 3 times. So 2 plus 1, 3 times it's try to redeliver, and then you can see this message get consumed, so there is no message to redeliver it, right? Redeliver exhausted, no redelivery exhausted action configured because message is already consumed. So let's go and check here. It should be 0. Okay, see this guys, it should be 0. What happened here? So in the first time it will get the inserted message in the active MQ, but according to rollback exception strategy, so the message get consumed and removed from the active MQ. So that was happening here. So any questions? Two things I'm trying to highlight here. One is how to increase the maximum redelivery count. That is one thing. Another one is, so something happened in the flow, how we'll roll back the things. So using rollback exception strategy, we'll roll back it. So this is the rollback exception strategy. Is that clear guys? So anybody have an issue or questions, please let me know. I will explain once again if you have any questions on this. So if you have no questions, we'll go for another topic. Okay, hope we are good. And then, so next topic is, so we're going to discuss about batch job processing, guys. So this is an important one. So when you will go for a batch job, so first I will try to explain the scenarios. So when you will go for the batch job processing, so these are batch, guys. There is a batch. The component is there in the wheel, or else you can call it as a message processor. So there is a batch job, batch execute, batch step, and batch commit. These are the batch filter components in the palette. So we'll see one by one. So the earlier we discussed about the pool component, guys. You people are aware it. So that time, based on the time, you are trying to trigger the trigger the event, or else trigger some flow, whatever you mention inside, right? So based on the time, it will try to call it, right? Okay, so that is a pool component. You can see you can schedule the time, certain time. You can it's a dynamic value actually, so you can keep it the properties file accordingly. You people are aware it. Last time we discussed about the properties thing. So my properties are under SRC main resources. So on the dev, I mentioned the time here, control F, control V. So how much time I mentioned? 10,000 milliseconds, guys. Means what? Around 10 seconds. Each 1000 milliseconds is nothing but 1 second. So that is the 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, what it will happen? Every 10 seconds, I mentioned inside. So there is a flow reference. Create users of flow. This will call, guys. So this will call. Okay. So first, I mean, so in this app, what I'm trying to do it in this API, what I'm trying to do it. So there is I will try to explain the scenario first. So generally, when you go for batch job thing. So there is a different scenarios, guys. First scenario is, I want to migrate migrate the data from one database to another database. Think like this. Earlier, my client was using some MySQL, right? It's a freeware. So they want to go for some Oracle or else something else, some Hadoop or else some Cassandra database. They want to migrate it, right? So that times what we need to do. So we have to implement via Mule API. So to the target system, whatever the target system it is, it's a Oracle or else some Cassandra. It's a MySQL database. Okay, so this is a MySQL data. So what we need to do, MySQL data. What we need to do, whatever the data available in the MySQL, right? So then, so here there is no human interaction, guys. Observe here. So there is no human interaction. So whatever the records happen in this, somebody will push the data into the MySQL still, right? So that should not be. So some other system, whatever the GUI, or else some vendors, or else some already existing systems are trying to push the data into MySQL. What our functionality is, what we need to do it. So whatever the table they mention, right, we need to talk to the table. We need to fetch the data. So then we need to whatever the target system is expecting. So we need to convert that format and then we'll push to the record into the bracket. Okay. So that's what we need to do. So that type of requirement will come. So why here bad job only we are using? So why don't you use so normal for each and then all. Okay, for each also it will serve the purpose, guys. So if people are aware about for each, it's like a Java in for each loop is there. No? What it will do for each record, it will iterate it, right? So from the list of records. So for each also it will work, but compared to for each, so batch have more advantages actually. So why batch job only we are using here? So suppose think like this, in a fraction of seconds, so thousands of records will insert into the MySQL, right? So what we need to do, so we have to based on the date. Suppose existing records. Suppose today already table contains some thousand records. Think like this. So now today 500 records get inserted in the table. So these thousand records already consumed. We should not talk about that. We should not pull the thousand record. we should always concentrate on the 500 records. Whatever the latest records dump into the MySQL, so we have to fetch the latest records, and again we have to process it to the Oracle, right? That's what we have to do it. So further, so they mentioned some particular table. We have to check either way. There is a create date. So something like that. The date field should be there in the table guide. Source date. Think like this. Source date. What Mule will do? Mule will write a query, right, where source date is greater than current date. Right? Based on that, so I mean source date is greater than last runtime date. Suppose here, these 1,000 records fetching happened yesterday, right? Not today. So last runtime date that should be captured in the Mule, right? Last runtime date capture in the Mule. So what we need in the query, what we need to write? So where source date is greater than last to runtime date. Then based on that, we'll get only latest record. Makes sense, right? So we'll get only the 500 records. So why here batch job only will using? So why you are using here batch job? Batch have a internal capability. It will give how many records get successful, how many records gets failure. So that type of capability it contains. By default it will give, suppose out of 500 some 250 records are get success, 250 records are get failure. So that capability it will return clearly, boss, these are the records get success, these are the records get failure. And out of 500 records it clearly give three things in the logger. So total records loaded 500, get failure 250, get success 250. What we need to do based on the failures thing, so we need to capture what are the records get failure. We need to trigger once again, right? Because we should process until unless the records get success, right? So that's what we need to do. So that is the advantage of if you go for batch. But if you go for each, think like this. So from this, see from here, from the database, we are getting a list of records. List of records in the sense the 500 records list will get it, array list, right? So using for each also you can iterate it. So the failure and success you have to take care. So the for each loop have not capability to get that failure or success records. But so whatever after hitting Oracle, you will get to know failure records, but you have to capture it. You have to count the records. How many records get failed? How many records get success? But if you go for batch job, it will be by default. That's why people will prefer batch job. So okay, hope you are good. So and then one more thing is how batch up. So compared to for each loop, you will insert only one record at a time, right? That is one more advantage. So you insert only one record, but using batch up, it will insert chunk by chunk, guys. Each chunk you can mention commit as batch commit as 10, right? So out of 500, I want to insert at a time 100 records. You can keep it batch commit as 100, so it will go for 5 times. Each time is 100, and then it will go on insert 100 records at a time. So how it will split it each chunk, so that is it will take as 100, right? So it will create a separate thread for that, guys, separate thread. So total it will create a 5 thread, and then 500 it will commit it. So it will convert it to the chunk, then it will hit it, right? It's nothing but a sequential processing, guys. So it will give the 100, then whatever the target system receiving, so there it will execute sequentially. Hope you getting what I'm saying. So batch of functionalities, it will try to hit 100 records at a time, but so that will happen in a sequential mode in the target system. It will take the 100, so that have a capability to process it and then insert in the 1,000 records, I mean 100 records sequential manner. So that's what happening here if you go for a batch. So this is the one scenario, guys, generally. And then other scenario, so yeah, mostly this type of scenario. So there is a migration thing. Another one is instantly whatever the records are coming into the database, will pull that record and then will push into the target system. There is a migration, actually there is a instantly also people want to use the badger, and then yes, this type of requirements actually. You guys are clear, right? So coming to my API, what I'm doing here, same thing, whatever I was explaining now. So in the database, I have a records, guys. So here my target system is different. Nimi was asking questions. How different how different is batch from queuing mechanism if done sequentially? It's a totally different, right? That is a queuing mechanism. This is a batch job actually. How different is batch from queuing mechanism if done sequentially? Nimi, can you explore more on this? I'm not getting actually. So that's a totally different, right? So even so in batch job, we are not splitting any chunks actually. So whatever the messages are, both are doing it sequentially. Yes, it's sequentially only. In batch job sequentially, that one also sequentially. But here, so here coming to batch job, there is no restriction to insert the count of messages actually. But here is the restriction. At a time, maximum it allowed. Suppose if you take Salesforce, it allow only 200 maximum per commit each time. But coming to queuing mechanism, there is no restriction actually. You can insert how many messages you want. But further also, we are using freewares, right? Like ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ, we are using freewares. So they have a each message memory restriction is there actually. If you go for Amazon SQS or else any subscribed thing, so then there is no memory restriction, I guess, but here there is no memory restriction. Each message have it's less than MBs only. I mean MBs only, not GBs actually. Each message, that type of restriction is there. That is a limitation. But here, yes, it's both are sequentially, but there is a limitation to push the messages. But same thing here is not there in queuing mechanism. But each message memory restriction is there. Okay, thank you. And then coming to here, my target system is here. My target system is not database, guys. It's a SN service now. There is a service now is there. Service now portal, service now backend is there. We're trying to insert into the service now. So that is my backend. So remaining all same. Okay, so what I'm trying to do it, so observe here guys, it's a real-time scenario. You can get more things on this. So even I'm using the soap API also inside. Observe here. So what I'm trying to do it, so under poll, you people are aware about the poll. So drag and drop the poll connector. So keep the frequency when you want to trigger it. Okay, so then so whenever based on the time it will jump to, so where it will jump, so the subflow is the flow reference. There's a flow reference, it will call to create user subflow. So there is a user there is a user table in the backend, guys. We are trying to talk that table, then we are trying to pull the records. That's what I'm trying to do it, and then insert it to the service now. So here it will call the subflow. So what was that? Create user subflow. This is a subflow, guys. If you're not aware about subflow, simply, I mean, if you want to go for directly that's a subflow, click F3, guys. It will jump to that particular subflow. Okay. Hope maybe it's here only, that one. Create user subflow. Okay, see this get highlighted. Okay, so now create user subflow. What I'm trying to do it here in the database. I just drag and drop the database connector, guys. So I mean, you people are aware it already. We discussed about the database. So what I'm trying to do it, observe here. So there's a this is a database configuration. You can see this host and port and then username, password, and database name. You people are aware about this modified dependency also. So we have to pass the dependency. And I forget to tell you guys, this one also some dependency is required, guys. That ActiveMQ discussed now. Where is this? Yeah, observe here, guys. This is also required the dependency. I'm trying to show them. Yeah, see this, guys. See, for ActiveMQ is there, not just now we discussed starting. For that also some dependency is required. That ActiveMQ all 5.11 is the latest actually. But I'm using 5.10. You have to add that dependency also, guys. If you, anybody tried it, you people should face the issue like class not found exception. So that time what you people need to do, you have to download this ActiveMQ all, right? Or else we already discussed about the Maven thing, right? So try to create a Maven project, add the dependency, get the dependency from the Google ActiveMQ all dependency from the Google, add in the POM file, then it will download automatically into your repository. Okay, na? So that dependency required. Coming back to here, so we added that database dependency here. So next one is what I'm capturing here, the lost runtime date. Second step, I'm capturing lost runtime date, payload of 0 dot job lost runtime. Okay, so what I'm trying to do it here, so you can observe the query in the database. I'm writing a query, so called, it's a select query and it's a parameterized Mule lost runtime query I'm capturing, guys. So what this query will do, so previously we executed the job now. So that time you are capturing actually. Observe here, select job lost runtime, that is a table name. Sorry, from user job, this is a field name, this is a user job tracker, there is a table name, where job name equal to user upset job. So you guys are clear, right? What I'm trying to do it. So here I want to fetch the when it was executing last time. Okay, so because based on this last runtime only, we are getting the new records, right? So we are trying to avoid existing records. Once again, if you're not I mean, if you're not handling that part, what it will happen, even existing records also will pull down. So that's what, based on this last runtime date, we are trying to avoid that existing already processed records. You guys are clear, right, on the previous step? So what I'm trying to do it, there is a table called user job tracker. I will talk to that table, then I will fetch the last runtime date. I'm just capturing in the one variable. Hope you're good. So next one is here, this is a component. So this is a component called batch execute, guys. This is the batch execute. Observe here, there's a symbol also look like that. In the middle, some arrow mark is there. Batch execute. Now batch I will start. So what it will do, batch execute. So it's like a flow reference, guys. Observe here. So if you keep a flow reference, what happen here? It will jump to that particular subflow or else private flow, right? So here, if we keep a batch execute, so inside batch execute also same thing we have to keep it. Batch job insertion check batch, same thing, right? So it will go to wherever you mention that, it will jump to that one. So this is the one, that, right? So batch job insertion check batch. Hope you are clear. So there's a batch what is this? Batch execute. So batch execute, what it will do, it will look like a, I mean, it will act like a flow reference. It will jump to that particular batch job, right? Coming to batch job, so in the batch we have a three parts, guys. I will try to drag and drop this one. I will try to show you. Observe here. I just drag and drop a batch job, guys. You can see here there are three parts in the batch job. So the first part is input, second part is process records. Under the process record, there is a batch step, and finally on complete. So means three phases are there in the batch job, guys. So first one is input, second one is process. I mean business in business logic we have to mention here, and finally on complete. Three things are there. So clear, right? So now coming to my API. So the first is input, right? According to batch job. So first is input. So input, so we have to pass only array list, guys. We have to, if you're not getting in the array list also, we have to convert into the array list, and then we have to pass to batch job. Means the batch job input, it will expect only array list, right? So that's why whatever the records we are getting, generally these requirements will work on the only database thing, right? Generally database will give array list. That's why, so no need to convert externally. But if you have any such type of requirement without database, you are working on that, you have to convert into the array list whatever the records you are fetching. So then we have to push the array list to batch. So clear, right? So now, so this will expect only input as a array list. I just convert into the, I mean, I just write the query to fetch the list of records. So now what I'm trying to do it, again database connector here. In the database, so observe here there is a query I written, that is a mdm data dot query. Even I mentioned the query also dynamically, guys. Why? Because so tomorrow there is a chance to change the query, right? So that's why even that query also I mentioned dynamically. So we'll see the query here. So under external properties file we mentioned the query called mdm data dot query. Observe here the query is, so earlier this is a query used it and we fetch the lost runtime date, and then now select star from b2p shock, that is a table name, where source state is the part of the b2p shock table. And observe here, guys, tenant and I mean source date is greater than flowwares dot lost run date time. Okay, so do you remember? So earlier we already captured that lost runtime date, and I'm holding into the one variable, right? So that's what I'm taking and I'm comparing. That's what I'm capturing and I'm trying to compare. I'm trying to uh, check the condition actually. Source date is a part of this table, and the last runtime date already captured in the variable. Then we are trying to check greater than or equal to. Clear, right? So based on this, what will get it? Only, only Only latest record will get it, guys. There is a source date is greater than flowwares dot last runtime date, and there is one more condition here: tenant name in B2C or PC. There is a users types, guys, under table actually. There is a B2B users, B2C users, or PC users. We have different types of users, so we have to get. Hope you guys are aware about the little bit queries. So this is a in means what? So we have to fetch only these users actually. We have a different types of users, but we want only B2C users and RPC users. But where source date is greater than last runtime date. Guys, clear? So our intention is we have to get only new records. Under that new records also we have to fetch only B2C and RPC users. That's what I'm trying to fetch it here. Now, so this will return the database. From the database, what will get it? Only the B2C and what else? RPC users with latest record. Source date is greater than last runtime date. So only that latest record will get it, and then we'll push to the next level, the processed records. So here I capture the records. Here I capture the records. That is a database records. I'm just displaying what I was getting, and then here I'm trying to process the records after fetching the list of records. Observe here, there is a choice. I kept a choice. If people are aware about this component. So the payload dot size is not equal to 0, then we'll process this and I can default is logged. So obviously records should be greater than 0. So then it will go here, guys. I'm just keeping the transform here. Observe here. So transform here. Whatever the right side records are, we are fetching from the table, right? The payload dot add account active city country first name is about you're trying to add a new user, guys, in the service now. So the right side values getting the table and the left side values, it's service now exposed as a REST API, sorry, SOAP API. So that is the thing. Okay. So here this is a SOAP API, guys. We already aware about the SOAP API. So we are trying to consume that SOAP API using web service consumer. There is a insert is the operation. They shared the WSDL file. You can see the WSDL file here. There is a create user.WSDL. This is the whole URL with the SOAP. So we already discussed, guys. So these people are exposed as a published as a SOAP API. We use this web service consumer. Then you people are aware of it, right? So in the transform, whatever the fields they want to map it, we're trying to map it. We're trying to map it. All the fields we're trying to map it, and then we're trying to insert the record. Okay. Once insert the record, what we are doing, I'll just click Control Shift. Okay. After inserting it will give the result, right. So it will give the XML, guys. That's why I'm trying to convert it to the proper XML, doc to XML, and then I'm trying to display the logger. After service consumer done, I'm trying to display the payload, and then you can see the on complete, right? You can see the on complete here in the on complete. So this is a business logic, guys. What the business logic here. So we have to take the records from the uh, existing table. We are trying to insert into the service now. This is a service now published as a SOAP API. We are trying to use that web service consumer. We're trying to insert the record. Once done, it will return the XML. So then finally it will return the some incomplete things also. So here you can see failure records, successful records, and elapsed time. I mean how much time it took. So in the failure records, how we'll capture the failure records? Observe here, guys. Number of failure records, payload dot failed records. This is already built-in thing, guys. I'm not writing anything. Or failure records, I didn't capture anywhere, so it will give by default failure. There is a call under payload. There is a keyword called, or else we can call it as a failed records. If we keep like this, we'll get a number of failed records count. It will display, guys. We are good, right? So we'll get a failed records. How many records get failed? It will display. And then here successful records. How many records get successful? It will display. Number of successful records. It will display number of successful records. And then elapse the time, guys. You can see the how much time it will take. Payload dot get the elapsed time milliseconds. These are all the built-in methods, guys. So it will give three things on complete phase. So one is failure records, another one is successful records, and then how much time it took for executing that, right? So it will give three things. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do it here, guys. So any questions on this? observe here guys, I'm trying to show you the execution. You can see the capture logs. Number of failure records 0. Number of successful records 0. And elapsed time is this. Maybe latest records are not there. That's why we're getting these logs. Okay, you can see this every 10 seconds the logs are getting. So I'm unable to show the local execution guys. That's why I'm trying to show in the server actually. You can see the server logs clearly. So whatever I was explaining in the on complete phase. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys. Three things: number of failure records 0. Maybe latest records are not there. That's why I'm trying to. You can see the lost runtime data also clearly mentioned that lost runtime data. I'm trying to display it. And again, maybe latest records are not getting. That's why. Um, So that's why you can see the always 0 number of failure records, number of successful records, and then elapsed time. If any records are coming, so then total records also it will display. You can see, you can observe here from the database records I'm getting empty. I'm not getting any records from coming from the database. You can see input phase completed, and then starting processing phase, and again finish processing phase, and again on complete phase. Right? You guys are clear, right? And so one more thing here we need to do. So where here we are starting this, right? Once you've done this, we need to update the lost runtime, right? Every time, right? Otherwise, so the old records also will fetch it. That's why here what we need to do. So here once again I'm capturing the lost time date, right? Current time, and then we are trying to update the uh, upset table with the lost runtime date actually, right? Based on that, the the latest time will hold into the lost runtime date table. Then every time we'll capture that latest time, right? So once you complete successfully, then we have to do this. Guys, clear? Any questions? Guys, any questions on this?
No, sir.
Good. Guys, we have 4 more minutes. So if you have any questions about this batch or else any other things also, you can ask. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see how to deploy how many ways to deploy the application, and we'll see that guys how to deploy things on premises, how to deploy it on cloud. I can't able to show you because I don't have. I mean, we need to subscribe the things, but I will tell you how to do it in cloud. And anyway, in local, you people are aware it how to deploy in local. So then, three ways you can deploy the application. I will try to show the deployment or on premises how to deploy it, and then how to use MMC. That I will try to edit the things. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we'll wind up the session, guys. So we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you so much.